Hope you're doing well out there. Welcome to yet another live stream. Live 108 this time. This tune is called Royal Flush. Here we go. 3, 4. Alright, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. It's always interesting reading the different places in the world that people manage to watch these streams from. I, of course, am in Montana. It's 7:37 p.m. right now. And this next tune is a piece called Fireflies, which is another acoustic instrumental tune. Hope you enjoy it. York, Pennsylvania, Adelaide, south of France, Buffalo, New York, Canberra, Australia, Glen Ellen, Illinois, San Diego, Bethesda, Maryland. All right, Liverpool. Alright. That was Fireflies, and next I'm going to play a piece on the electric guitar. We're going to get fired up and wired up here. Launceston, Tasmania, Vermont, Alabama, India, Canada. This tune is called Mindless. It's from my 2018 album Undertones, which of course you can listen to on streaming services, or you can purchase on CD or vinyl from my website. Let me know if it sounds okay out there, and if you can see everything okay. Here's Mindless. 1, 2, 3. All day long there's a voice in my head saying who I am, what's up next. And I listen to the endless chatter, knowing it's never gonna matter. Cause when I get to your door and I step into the world waiting for me and you, nothing we need to do or say to be swept away. Mindless, mindless with you, timeless, place you take me to, where nothing can reach us, nothing can keep us from the love we melt into. When I get mindless, mindless with you. You know how to flip the switch off, power down the program and get lost. And I love the way the silence speaks, telling me all I'm ever gonna need is to be mindless, mindless with you, timeless, place you take me to, when nothing can reach us, nothing can keep us from the love we melt into. When I get mindless, mindless with you. get me to. When nothing can reach us, nothing can keep us from the love we melt into. When I get mindless, when I get mindless, I get mindless, mindless with you. Wham bam. There you go. That's how that song is performed, at least on this occasion. It's a little bit different every time I play it. That's the nature of tunes like that. Rock and roll. Well, let me know if you have any requests. I usually don't play with a set list of any kind. I usually just kind of go with the flow, so to speak. Speaking of which, I'm going to play a song called Flow. And I'm going to try playing it on this guitar, which is a little bit tricky to play it on this guitar because this has a shorter number of frets, I guess. There's no cutaway like my other acoustics there. And it's a bit of a beefy neck to play, which I like it. This is a Gibson from the 40s. It's an L00 model for any scholars out there. And I'm happy to announce I just recorded a lesson for this song, so I'm going to be sharing that soon. This is it's a pretty difficult piece to play, but these days we have tab and video lessons with all the angles you'll need to figure out songs like this. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. This is Flow. one of the most satisfying songs I've written. It's really fun to play. It's just all the notes are like this tapestry that weave together. Good fun. Thanks very much for listening and enjoying it. And, whoops. Getting a phone call from my sister. I'll call you back, Claire. I wanted to let anyone know who wants to support the live streams. I have a tip jar, and the tip jar link is joerobinson.com/tipjar. And you can leave a tip if you enjoy the music. Thank you in advance to anyone who chooses to do that. Other ways to support me would be purchasing my music. You can buy a CD or a vinyl record on my website, joerobinson.com. There's a link to the store. And if you share the stream, if you hit the like button, that all helps the algorithm send the video to more people and let the these platforms, like I'm streaming live right now on YouTube, on Facebook. I think I'm also on Twitch and Twitter. I never quite know if they're all going to work. I just press the button that says, yep, send the stream to there, and I sync them all up. And I also have guitar courses on my teaching website, which is called Invisible Technique. And if you go to my website, joerobinson.com, which is easy to remember, and just press courses, it'll take you to the Invisible Technique page. And if you'd like to learn to play like I teach, then that is the place to do that. I have a series of fingerstyle guitar courses, which are very popular. And I also have a daily exercises program, which is also quite popular. It's a series of very simple exercises that anyone can do. And I really believe in them for allowing us to have beautiful, flawless technique when we play the guitar, so that all we hear is the music. That's the goal. That's why I call it Invisible Technique. Alright, I'm going to play a Gordon Lightfoot song now. This is a song that I kind of worked up again recently. I learned it many years ago, but I never really kind of did anything with it, so I'll have to record it properly at some point. So I'll play it now because I really like it. It's called Shadows. Reach out, love, and touch me. Let me hold you for a while. I've been all around this world, and still I long to see you smile. There's a shadow on the moon, and the waters here below do not shine the way they should. And I love you just in case you didn't know. Let it go. Let it happen like it happened once before. It's a wicked wind and it chills me to the bone. And if you do not believe me, come and gaze upon the shadows at your door. Won't you lie down by me, baby? Run your fingers through my hands. I've been all around this town and still I do not understand. Is it me or is it you? Or the shadow of a dream? Is it wrong to be in love? Could it be the finest love I've ever seen? Set it free. Let it happen like it happened once before. It's a wicked wind and it chills me to the bone. And if you do not believe me, come and gaze upon the shadows at your door. Kiss me gently, darling, while the river runs away. In the mountains in the springtime, on a blue and windy day, where there's beauty all around, and the shades of night grow deep, where the morning stars grow dim, there we'll find us in the shadows fast asleep. Let it go, let it happen like it happened once before. It's a wicked wind and it chills me to the bone. And if you do not believe me, come and gaze upon the shadows at your door. There we go. Rosemary says, how about playing an all-time favorite of yours that we have never heard before? That would be cool. I'm trying to think of what that might be. So is it a song that no one out there has heard before, like an obscure song, or is it a song that you've never heard me perform before? Because I can probably find one of those. I've been having fun with Deep River Blues lately, so maybe I'll pull up the lyrics to that and see if I can make it through Deep River Blues. How about that? Alright, we're really being interactive now. I just did a search for Deep River Blues lyrics and it said Deep River Blues meaning. It's a song about a man who wants to go in the river. I love this song. I think I'll play it on the Telecaster. That might be a bit different. Let me know if you like it. Get my sound going here. That sounds pretty good. Alright, here we go. I never performed this before, so don't judge me too harshly. It's an old Doc Watson song, of course. Here we go. Let it rain, let it pour, let it rain a whole lot more, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Let the rain drive right on, let the waves just sweep along, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Well, my old gal's a good old pal, and she looks like the waterfowl when I got them deep river blues. Going back to Muscle Shoals, times are better there, I'm told, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Give me back my old boat, I'm gonna sail if she'll float, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Let it rain, let it pour, let the waves waves just sweep along, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Now we're talking. Well, if my boat sinks with me, I'll roll down, don't you see? 'Cause I got them deep river blues. And now I'm gonna say goodbye, and if I'll sink, just let me die. 'Cause I got them deep river blues. 'Cause I got them deep river blues. It'd be fun to work up like a real Telecaster orientated version of that tune, because of course Tommy plays a real mean version, as does the OG Mr. Doc Watson, of course. So I'm gonna play a song that is one of my fastballs. This is a tune called The Rush. Hope you like it. One, two, three, four. I went out and played some shows. I guess it was last week. I was in Pennsylvania and upstate New York. I played at the Rochester Jazz Festival, which was really great. I played 4 concerts there, and every one of them was packed, and I got a standing ovation every time. It was really nice because it's different doing live streams. I can't hear any of the applause. My applause is like in emoji form. Thank you, Many Vibes, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's 10 applause emojis there. I appreciate that. Okay, I'll pull out the electric guitar again. And I think I'll play a tune called Albatross, which is an instrumental piece that was written by Peter Green. He was in the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac. This song has just 2 chords, but it's just such a beautiful, hypnotic piece. I love playing it, and I hope you enjoyed this version. There we go. That was Albatross. It's a very meditative piece. I used to love listening to Phil Emmanuel play that song. He played such a beautiful version of it. I see a question here from Holly. May I leave my question here? Yes, feel free to ask questions, everybody. What's the amp that you use for acoustic guitar, says Holly. Would you recommend practicing with an amp or just with the guitar? I think that was the end of the question. I just lost it. I can't scroll down in my chat and the app I use to monitor the chat. But so the amp I use for acoustic guitar is called the Capo 75, and it's made by Udo Rosner Amps. And if you just do a YouTube search, Joe Robertson acoustic amp, you should find a video that I made about that amp where I talk about the reasons that it's such a great performance companion. I did remember reading in your question that you've been playing for a couple of years or so, and you asked, do I practice with the amp, or would I recommend practicing with the amp? And I don't think it's essential to have an amp to practice with as an acoustic guitarist. I think the real magic about the acoustic guitar to me is you can take it anywhere you want. I love to practice outside. You can practice anywhere. You can practice on a bus. You can practice in a park. It's just a wonderful portable instrument. So I love playing acoustic guitar and practicing just with the guitar itself. One big recommendation I do have is that the guitar is set up so that it's easy to play. So you want the height of the strings to be nice and low and comfortable. And if the action of the strings is too high, meaning that you come up the neck and it becomes very difficult to play because the strings are so high from the fretboard, then I'd recommend taking your guitar to a luthier. Usually your local music store will have somebody who can set up a guitar, and they know how to adjust the nut and the saddle and the neck relief and the frets so that it's really easy to play. And that is a really important part of playing acoustic guitar, I think, is having an instrument that's easy to play, so you're not just fighting the instrument all the time. And with regard to the other acoustic amps that are available, I know there are a lot of other companies that make acoustic amps, but I would rather play directly into a PA if I was performing, rather than play through most of the other acoustic amps that are on the market. Fender make an acoustic amp that I think is an amp that they could do a much better job with that amp. I think they have failed to deliver a product that is worthy of the Fender brand. I'm not afraid to say that with their acoustic amps. Fishman amps, I think, they don't sound very good. There are a few other boutique companies like Henriksen make nice little amps, but I like the Capo amps, and I also like the AER amps, which were designed by Udo Rosner. So I think you only really need an amp if you're going to be performing live shows, and in that case, it's very, very advantageous to have an amplifier for the reasons I outline in the video that I recommended searching for. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks very much for asking it, Holly. William Mayer says, greetings from Montreal. Thank you for the live shows. I always tune in when I can. Do you plan on playing here in Montreal in the near future? I don't have any plans, but you never know. You never know. I may be back up in that part of the world before too long. Certainly send my best wishes up there. I got time for a few more songs. I think I'll play a song that I wrote for my wife. She's not from Montreal, she's from Quebec City, that is. And this is a song that bears her name. Genevieve. Here we go. had to say goodbye. I fell for you before I knew your name. The way that the words fell from your lips, the feeling of your soft fingertips on my skin, I've never been the same. All that I need to learn, that I need to see is in your eyes. All that I plead and yearn for this world to give me realized. In this love I believe, Genevieve. Je tend to être ma joie de vivre. From all that I run, you are my reprieve. Right from the start, this restless heart you tamed. All that I need to learn, that I need to see is in your eyes. All that I plead and yearn for this world to give me realize. In this love I believe, Genevieve. And every day I know it more and more. You're the one I've been searching for. And I don't even know who I was before you. All that I need to learn, that I need to see is in your eyes. All that I plead and yearn for this world to give me realize. In this love I believe, more than I can conceive. Morning, noon, and eve. Genevieve. Alright, so again, really nice question from Holly. Another question from Holly, that is. Could you talk a little bit about how you created the song, melody or lyrics-wise? Yeah. I'll answer two questions in one. Hey Joe, why do you use a capo occasionally? Well, because I love to use open strings. And you can't use open strings if there's no capo in some keys. So for example, I have a capo on the first fret, and I want to play this song in A flat because that's it's a good key to sing it in. And I find that the guitar just sounds a little bit different if it's up slightly a higher register. Like if I played it here, to me those notes, they all just kind of mush together in a way that they don't hear. There's a clarity with that slightly higher register because when the strings are played higher, there's less vibration. There's less tension. There's more tension on the strings. Anyway, you just get less kind of overtony sounds. So it depends on the material and the song. Sometimes I'll capo it up just because I want a little bit of a sweeter, tighter sound. And sometimes I'll tune the guitar down because I want a deeper, richer, more sound with more overtones and such. So that's why I use a capo. And if I was to play that song in A flat without a capo, it would be really difficult. Let me show you what that looks like. I mean, it can be done, but why do that when you can get such a beautiful sound with the capo with all those notes ringing out? That's why the capo is used. Sometimes I see comments on, I post a lot of videos on social media, and sometimes I'll see like pretty ridiculous comments. And one person said when they saw me play with the capo is, real guitarists don't use capos. And I thought, all right, then I like to see. Well, everybody's an expert on their opinion, and that fellow is welcome to his opinion. But I think capos are quite valuable. So the way I wrote the song Genevieve was, I came up with the melody first. That is true. I had the, and to tell you the truth, I used to play a song called Adelaide, which is a song I wrote around 2010 or so quite a few years ago now, 13 years ago. And I wanted a song that had a similar melodic vibe. Apologies if you can hear our little puppy dog up there scratching around. She's a bit restless at the moment. But I wanted a song that could kind of replace my song Adelaide with a little bit of a more modern and relevant lyric content to where I am in my journey right now. So I had that melody and I had the chords, and I actually wrote it with a girl named Alyssa Bonagura, who is a songwriter and a friend of mine in Nashville, and we sat down and wrote a song together. And at the time, Genevieve and I were dating, and she said, "What's your girlfriend's name?" And I said, "Her name is Genevieve." And she's like, "Oh, that's a pretty name. We should write a song." And so then we just wrote the song, and it kind of just came together pretty naturally. So that's how it happened. I think if you have a title when writing a song, usually that's a good focus point. I think the mistake that I've made in the past, and that many people seem to make, is you can write a verse, and you can write a chorus, and then you get to the end of the chorus and you kind of say, okay, what's this song about? Whereas the way that a lot of the best songwriters write is they kind of begin with the end in mind. So you'll find a title for the song, and then you'll write around that title. So, yeah. William says, Alyssa, that's crazy. She's so talented. Yeah, I've known Alyssa for a long time. We first probably wrote some songs together, I don't know, 8 years ago, something like that, probably. So there you go. Okay, hey Joe, do you have any advice for someone wanting to teach fingerstyle guitar? Thanks. Yeah, I definitely have some advice. One piece of advice is, it's actually really simple. Just show up to give. So if you really show up to give someone something, then they'll feel like that's a breath of fresh air, because these days everyone's trying to take something. And if you have a good heart like that, you really try to give something. I think that's Simon Sinek's phrase, show up to give. Chris Stapleton doesn't, lol. I don't know what that is referring to, but I wrote some songs with Chris Stapleton too. That was probably 13 years ago, and I can't find them. They're on a phone or a hard drive somewhere. But yeah, he's a great artist, and he was like a best kept secret in Nashville for a long time before he broke through. Yeah, so that would be my first piece of advice for teaching fingerstyle, is show up to give. The second piece of advice would be to show people a simple path. That's kind of like the best thing you can do, is just lay things out really simply so that people have an understanding of what to do next. Because I can't tell you how many, like, I try to learn drums, and I joined the popular drum website, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot here, but there's no path. There's no like simple path. So if you can show people a simple path and you show up to give, then I would say that is great. And the other thing is, make sure that you can play well before you start to teach. And I don't think that's like an essential prerequisite, but with the internet these days, it's like there are some people who are popular teachers who don't play very well. And I struggle when I see people copying poor technique. So that would be my advice. But I do encourage you to teach, because it's a great experience for everybody involved. People appreciate it if you, like I said, show up to give and give them something that they want to learn. And you also learn a lot as the teacher. I learn a lot when I teach. Joe, how long did it take to go from just your thumb to using a thumb pick? I can use my thumb just fine, but I go to water cartwheel when trying to play with the thumb pick. So when I first learned to play with the thumb pick, I was probably 11 years old or so. So I feel like at that age, your brain is a little more malleable than if you've been playing guitar. Like a lot of people have been playing guitar for decades, or they're older in life, and they'll pick up a thumb pick and it just feels so awkward. And I've worked with a lot of people to kind of get through that hurdle, so I'll talk a little bit about that, which is probably more relevant than my own experience because I started when I was young. But the thumb pick feels awkward and feels uncomfortable at first, but the beautiful thing is, the more time you spend playing with the thumb pick, the more comfortable you'll get with it. And if you decide you don't want to play with the thumb pick, then you will have still developed a lot of independence and a lot of great habits that the thumb pick teaches you. Because the thing with the thumb pick is you have to be more accurate than playing with a bare flesh of your thumb. Because with the thumb, if you're kind of sloppy, it doesn't really matter. But if you're sloppy with a thumb pick, it just sounds terrible. So you really have to be quite accurate when playing with a thumb pick in order for it to sound polished and good. So it's a great exercise even if you don't want to play with the thumb pick. That is the first thing I'll say. And the second thing is to just really put in the time and have respect for the patterns themselves. So just really simple patterns like this. I can't tell you how important it is to just get really comfortable with that pattern, because every time you learn a song that has any kind of thread of folk or blues, then that pattern is going to be somewhat involved. And if you can get really comfortable with it, then it's like you just unlock this whole world of music. So I'm not sure if you've been through my fingerstyle courses, but that is a great place to get all the information you need to play fingerstyle guitar. If you go to my site, invisibletechnique.com, you can find all my teaching programs, and I have a series called Complete Fingerstyle Guitar. You can start with the beginner course, and I guess you've probably already gone through the course, because I know that a lot of people who watch my streams, they're like, yeah, we know, Joe, we already have your programs. So, but there's a few tips and thoughts on using a thumb pick. Simon in Vancouver says, been listening to Remedy off the Border CD as a cool bridge, middle 8. How'd that tune come about? Simon, Vancouver Island. That's a great question, Simon. Thank you. I really like that section of that song. It's like one of my favorite things I've written. I don't really have a performance version of that song worked out, but I should work it up again, because it's a nice song. Let me try to remember how it goes. Sometimes when songwriting, it's literally just sitting there and you have one kind of part or one theme, and then it's like it's like a random process of just trying every chord you can think of to find out where it's going to go next. And sometimes you kind of hear it. I try to avoid those kind of songs. Like I always want to throw in a twist or a sneaky little moment there. I forget how to play that section right now, but it's yeah, that was how I came up with it. I had the main theme, and then I was like, where can I go next? And I tried like a bunch of different chords, and then I heard that sound, and I was like, oh, that's a bit of a modulation. That has a nice theme to it, and then I just kind of developed that. So it's a really fun thing to do, to just sit there with a nugget of an idea of a song and just experiment to try to figure out how to where to take it. I can't get comfortable with the thumb pits. I recently got those Blue Mountain hybrid pits. What do you think of them? Any good? I don't like them. And the Black Mountain fellow seems very nice, and he sent me some of those and asked me to create a Facebook ad for him. And I told him that I didn't think the pits sounded very good, which was a deal breaker for me, because I think the design is very cool, and maybe I'll create my own thumb pit someday, because I think there's room in the world of thumb pits for a really good thumb pit. But I like the Dunlop medium thumb pits because I think they sound excellent. I also like the Golden Gate thumb pits. I think they sound great. Whatever they're made of, they probably sound better than the Dunlops, but they don't fit my thumb. They're too tight on my thumb, or too loose, because usually there's a large and a medium, which is what most people is what's going to fit most people. So I don't like the Black Mountain pits. I think they sound plasticky and thin to me. But I'm a bit particular about these things. Compressor could help with the sound. If I'm playing a gig and if I'm playing a gig and I plug my guitar into my acoustic amp and then into the PA, and if I hear any compression in the front house, I know right away I can hear it. I've played my guitar through enough PAs that I can hear when there's compression. I always ask for the sound engineer, please turn it off, because it takes away my power and my control. If the compressor is taking my loud notes and making them softer, then it just reduces the dynamic range I have to work with. And some people don't like that, but they like to have more control of the dynamic range, but I like to have that myself. So I don't like using a compressor. I do use a compressor in the studio sometimes, because studio is a bit of a different beast, but there you go. I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. These last few questions remind me of the Zoom calls that I have every month with people in my Invisible Technique coaching community, and we have a call on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. We talked about all things guitar. So agree with your assessment, Black Mountain pits. I've really tried to like them, but hate how plastic they sound. Yeah, I really do respect the fellow who designed them, because I know it's hard to be a small business like that and have an idea and bring it to market. But I do wish he was a little more receptive to my feedback, because he didn't seem to want to hear it. Anyway, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you all again really soon for a live stream. This was live stream 108. Rosemary says, have you tried Fred Kelly thumb pits? Yeah, I like the Fred Kelly thumb pits. I think they're pretty cool. Richard Smith is a great player, and he gets a great sound with the Fred Kelly pits. But I find that they're a little bit loose on my thumb. Like, I tend to dig in, and I think Tommy Emmanuel said the same thing about those Fred Kelly pits. He'll dig in, and the pit will go flying across the room. The Dunlop is a little sturdier, and so that works for the way I play. But for someone like Richard Smith, the Fred Kelly pits are perfect, because he plays a nylon string, which has you play a nylon string with a bit of a softer touch generally, and he has a really beautiful technique with that pick, with those picks. But yeah, I like the Dunlops for me. I also like the Golden Gate pits, as I said, and there's probably other pits that are really good as well. but those are the ones that seem to be the most common out there. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to leave a tip, I have a tip jar. I have a teaching site, invisibletechnique.com, and I have CDs and vinyl on my website. And of course, you can enjoy my music on streaming services anytime. And thank you very much for watching, and take good care. Cheers.